Alrighty folks, today we are actually going to start Roottreemania. Wait, no, I don't need to do that. Continue. I guess we'd get the cutscene again, but if I start the new game, like, I wouldn't lose any progress. Because I didn't make any progress. But yes, last time we actually, I ended up looking at hints, didn't I? But the one I'm sad I didn't figure out myself was the Joan one, because I had definitely, I don't remember how far back it was, but I'm pretty sure when I saw that song Sun in the game, I said something about, oh, I wonder if the name rhymes. Did I say that? I'm not sure. I definitely had the thought, at least. But at the time I wasn't using like the list of names in order to fill stuff in, and so therefore I didn't look for Joan, because that's not how I wanted to play. And then the others, I don't know, they were pretty difficult to do, so I'm kind of glad I looked up hints for that. It is, I've been thinking about it more. It's like, it reminded me a little bit of how I felt with Chance of Sennar, because I played Chance of Sennar in an interesting way, where, like, in Chance of Sennar I knew I was, like, actively going against how the game was, like, intended to be played, because I was, like, avoiding putting the symbols into the book, so it didn't confirm them, all that kind of stuff. But, like, there was still part of me that, like, really wished it was designed for that, and to allow for that type of playing. Like, basically give the player the choice on, like, how much assistance do they want, how much do they not want. And then I feel very similar here, but in this case it's like even more annoying, because, like, I don't think it is that clear how the design is intending the game to be played. So, like, at least not until, like, later on. I don't know. Yeah, there's just, like, various aspects of the way the game is designed. It's, like, designed for a very specific way of playing it that is probably totally compatible with most people who play it, but doesn't account for, like, either allowing me to play the way that I find most satisfying. I mean, okay, I guess I've got another point to make on that, but, like, yeah, either, like, allow me to play like that, or, like, actively discourage me from doing that, like, or not even discourage, but, like, actively say, like, no, you're supposed to play like this. Like, obviously you can do that in a more subtle way. It doesn't have to be, like, just, like, sticking a thing on the screen saying you're supposed to play the game like this, do it like this, otherwise you're doing it wrong. But yeah, then the other thing to say on that is that, well, like, the way that I prefer to play, where, like, even at the end of the game I have, like, leads I can follow, and even these, like, tiny little names, there's going to be some, like, little bit of evidence pointing to it. It's not just, like, trial and error, or, like, looking through a list and seeing, like, what's the last female name left in the list, all that kind of stuff. Those are just, like, less satisfying clues, and to some degree that is not just me asking for the game to be more like what I would like to play, but me also just thinking, I think that is, like, if the game did that, it would be the game leaning into what it seems to me to be about, which is exploring information and tying those bits of information together, and, like, finding interesting connections between them that tell you something about somebody. Just, like, narrowing down the last option on the list isn't that. It is, obviously it's information, it's the last name in a list, but it's not a satisfying deduction. So, like, yeah, I guess part of me thinks that if a game like this were to lean into what it's good at and what's interesting about it, it just wouldn't have those kinds of deductions anyway, and therefore would be interesting to people who want to play it the way I want to play it. Anyway, okay, we're actually going to get started on Roottreemania. So what's going on? There's, like, these other family members. So Clark showed up at our door, right? And there's these other family members who may be cousins, may not be cousins, something like that. Family tree update 1998. Possible infidelity, interesting, okay. Possible infidelity 2, possible infidelity 1. Possible. Are some of these going to be, like, is the green... Okay, yeah, okay. That's what I was going to guess it meant. Does the green mean it's from the original tree? Yes. So I'm trying to figure out basically who this person might have had an affair with, maybe. Infidelity. It says possible though. Isn't this sort of implying that it's not just possible, it's like certain? Since the tree structure is given to me and that's part of the information we've got. Family tree update. Interesting. Okay. Oh, and there's another top secret thing as well. You can open this envelope after the whole family tree has been filled in. You'll have to be extra sleuthy this time around to deduce the truth. Pay close attention to what you find and be sure to look into loose ends. So I've heard this is really tricky. So let's go look at some... Well, no, let me understand these family trees a little bit first. So you've had a child through your infidelity who's also gotten married and adopted a child. So they've had a child through marriage and they've also adopted a child, possibly the spouses. Or I guess it isn't clear like who is the adoptive parent. Or it could be both. But then these are connected? Split up. What on earth is this gonna mean? So the grandchild got married, to a John Doe. Presumably not actually called John Doe. It's just a name that we're never going to be able to put in. Split up. Why? What's this horizontal line? Weird. I don't know what that would mean. Okay, but then you had 2 partners and some children from that. Okay. You also infidelity, split up. Interesting. So here we have 2 children. We don't know who the parents actually are. We know that you're involved in either case, but it might be your children or it might be your children. The rest of that looks simple. What is this? Oh dear. Oh dear. Whoever this is. Should we take a guess at who that is right now? Yeah, okay, you've been a terrible person, haven't you? First affair, final affair. Okay, so these are in order like this, I guess. Left to right. Wowie. Okay, so then we've got 2 people who are in the original tree and they've got married. Family tree update 1998, which is when the game was set, right? So, okay, so that's just 2 people have got married. Interesting. Okay, let's go look at some evidence, I think. Oh, we also have notable Roottrees. Oh, is that the same list though as before? Oh, no, okay. Today is August 3rd. Okay, so it's been 8 months since we helped Sam Madsen with the research necessary for her book. Sam was true to her word and paid you an incredibly large sum of money. Wowee. Yet we're still in the same detective living room. She never mentioned you by name, however, so you've managed to keep a low profile. The Roottrees, on the other hand, have not. Below is a summary of notable events since the book's release that you can refresh your memory in full detail by searching online. 6 pieces. Sam Madsen's book about Elias Roottree was released in February. It was a bestseller for a few months at the time. Carl had not yet been replaced. Sam Madsen's book, 6 pieces. Okay. Sam Madsen is Sam? Yes, yeah, okay. It was a bestseller for a few months at the time. Carl had not been replaced. The Roottree Rift. In March, the Roottree company stumbled publicly as they attempted to respond to the book's release with multiple conflicting press releases and a clear lack of leadership, okay? So this is probably all stuff we can search. Okay, I'm going to attempt to use my notes a bit more. I felt like in the entire duration of the first part of the game, I never really got like a sense of how I wanted to use my notes. And by the time I was starting to get that sense, my notes were already a mess. I guess I could have just added another page and started from there, but I don't know. I assume this is the same as before. Add page. Okay. Okay, so some things we're going to look up. So, highlight? Yeah, that does that. Okay. Anything else that we went over? I don't think so. Card not yet been replaced. Okay, the Roottree Rift, that's clearly going to be a thing we can look up as well. In March, the Roottree Company still not yet, blah, blah, blah. It might not be actually. It's named as though it's like an event that might have been written about in some way, but it might just be how it's written here. Clark Rafferty LaRue. Clark was announced as the permanent successor to Carl Roottree. Okay. And welcome Sam Matheson to the family officially. The company hired an outside legal group to handle the changes to the Clancy Trust. This included any other new questions of lineage. Okay. 5 Ps. Interesting. I mean, let's note each of these. Outside legal group, I wonder who. Like, maybe I should make a note of that just to be like, that's something that could be interesting to look up at some point. 5 Ps. After this announcement, there was a rash of different people claiming to be Roottrees, mostly dismissed as opportunists and scammers. The highest profile of these by a wide margin was a rapper named Felix Fellows. There we go. Who changed his moniker to 5 Ps as a publicity move at the same time. 5 Ps is the only notable person on the updated tree. Okay, so we know exactly who that is, right? Roottreemania. In another high profile misstep, Miracle Roottree publicly and vehemently denied that 5 Ps was a Roottree. The Rootree's legal team then offered to do a DNA test. Okay, wow, this is scandalous. Offered a DNA test to get 5 Ps to drop his claim, and in a moment that caught what seemed like the entire world by storm, the test proved he was a Roottree. Suddenly, the world was obsessed with the Rootrees. Because, yeah, sure. Proof. Anonymum and Jane Doe Roottrie. Okay. In July, an anonymous woman who the press began to refer to as Anonymum appeared in interviews with her face and voice disguised. She claimed that an affair with a Roottree led to the birth of her daughter, aka Jane Doe Roottrie. Right, I've already got that. If true, this would make her daughter yet another secret Roottree, therefore entitled to a share of the Clancy Trust. So there might not, yeah, so some of these family trees that we've got now might not be legit. They might not actually be connected. Nobody knew it at the time, but this would turn out to be the last chapter in the Roottreemania saga. As more and more of Anonymous' story came out, people began to notice how much it echoed 5 P's. I would definitely put an S after that apostrophe. Although that's a thing that's like disagreed on by many people. I'm always of the opinion, like, even like, I would more strongly do it here because it's a Z, but I'm of the opinion that if you say the S when saying the thing, like James's book, I would put an apostrophe S, James's book. It just makes it consistent with how you say it, as opposed to the rule that is like, oh, if the word ends with an S, then you just put an apostrophe, you don't put an S after it. That is true, but only for plural words, like the cat's tails, like multiple cats, the cat's you don't say the cat's tails, so it's just the cat's, plural, apostrophe, tails. It's just consistent that way. Why do we have a silly rule that's like, don't put the, like if a word ends in S at all, then don't put an S after it. No, make it consistent with how we say it. Anyway, and I would definitely say 5 P's, right? You wouldn't say 5 P's. It echoed 5 P's in nearly, I mean, you could say that would also be a valid sentence, but it's clearly meaning 5 P's story. Anyway, in nearly every significant way. The court of public opinion began to turn, confirming the world's suspicions. The DNA test, orchestrated by lawyers on both sides, proved that her daughter was not a Roottree. Wait, hold on. So there was another DNA test? Proved that her daughter was not a Roottree. This final event caused public disappointment, smugness from doubters, and countless accusations of the entire ordeal being an elaborate hoax or attempt at fraud. Things got a bit ugly, and the fun of Roottreemania seemed to disappear overnight. Now, a month later, it feels like a distant memory. Okay. Not sure there was anything in there that felt like something I should search for. Except, like, lawyers on both sides again. Outside legal group. Like, I'll make a note of it as something to go back to. Okay, and then what was over here? 6 pieces, the Roottree Rift. Okay, so that's the name's the thing. 5-piece star. So you're saying, then, there's only 1 star on this, right? So that's 5-piece. And 5-piece was actually related? Oh, first name and last name. Ah, okay, this is what I was asking for in the first one. But I'm gonna guess your name isn't actually that, okay. Okay, so that's 5-piece. Roottreemania, yeah, okay, that's fine. Previously on. Is this just a reminder of the previous stuff? This is a new investigation with a new focus after many months of newfound interest in Roottrees. It is recommended you try to catch up with some of what happened since last time. Some web searches may yield new or different results, and some books and magazines from your previous investigation may be relevant to your new one. It's also a much more widespread search. The list of first and last names you can choose from will contain red herrings. Not all of them will be used. Okay. Oh, okay. Great. Awesome. Awesome, perfect. This is what I want. This is what the game should be. Below is a reminder of some of the most notable beats of your initial dive into the Roottrie family tree. All evidence from before is still available, and for your convenience, any searches that do not lead to new information still function as they did during your first investigation. Okay. The Roottree Candy Company was founded by... Yeah, okay, just reminds us certain things. So, like, possibly we should be looking up these folks again. Oh gosh, yeah, we're going to really have to retread some ground, aren't we? Like, to the point that I might not even highlight this and just kind of go through later. I mean, she wasn't that difficult. I found other people more difficult. Yeah, Chris Raff, 75. Okay, so you're clearly like, this is like when you get a previously on in front of a TV show. Sometimes it spoils things in the episode because it's like, it kind of tells you what's going to be relevant to the episode, and I think this is doing exactly the same. And I think it might be doing it in a slightly jokey way. Sam and her father were cryptically mentioned in a book about historical letters. Were they? I think there might have been a book I didn't find in the first part of the game that was like quoted in the end sequence, maybe. There were also a few dead ends and red herrings. Aloysius Herring Roottree, according to Roottrie was not. Family Man, a book about Elias Roottrie, turned out to be propaganda, not useful. Don't remember that at all. Lauren's other books, historical romance novels, were not very useful on their own, though could lead to other information. Okay, that's clearly a hint. Caroline Morden's sculptures were not useful. I don't remember whether they were or not, okay. Today, August 3rd, 1999, there's a knock at your door. Current president. Maybe like looking up him again would be useful. Did I already note that down? Yeah. He's been trying to work with Sam but has not answered his calls. He also handed you a letter that he said you could share with Sam that said the following. To both of you, the company I hired to help us with the Clancy Trust is busy pouring through the entire family's history as well as people they may have had contact with. That said, the family is not particularly happy with this and are doing their best to slow things down. Many of them are actively avoiding our interviews. Every time there's a high-profile public case, it causes headaches, so please, I don't mind if you do your research, but I ask that you stop going to the press. Instead, we have a highly trained team of lawyers to back you up. We're ready and willing to verify anyone and everyone you believe could be realistically part of a relationship that led to the birth of a new Roottree. Just tell us who to investigate by filling in the new sections of the tree, and we'll take the time to handle verifying that timeline checks out. But keep in mind why we're here. If someone didn't have a child or has already been disqualified by our lawyers, like in the case of the girl with the negative DNA test, there won't be a place for them on the tree. We're not just looking for affairs and infidelities, we're only looking for the ones that led to potential new Rootrees. Okay, so there might be additional affairs and infidelities. I mean, that's slightly confusing because, like, the whole point is that they're potential new Rootrees, so why does that mean there's necessarily not a space for them in the tree? That implies that you know... I guess what it is the tree structure I've been given is... which they somehow know, it is things that are still open as potential new Roottrees. Yes, okay. Some spots in the new section will be marked with a tree icon. Those areas, blah, blah. Yeah, married names or nicknames won't be enough. Okay, birth names only. Is that how it was? Sure. To start sorting out the infidelities, I recommend you turn your eyes to the men in positions of power. I'd love to say that's only because it would have been a lot harder for the women to hide 9 months of pregnancy and birth without the family listing, but I can't. I'll be blunt, I'm no stranger to infidelity. I wish I could claim that I was a perfect husband, but you've seen the family tree, so why pretend? Some of us learned how to wield our family name and fortune to our benefit. Consequences be damned. I can't change the past or unhurt those who I betrayed. Instead, all I can do is be honest with myself and to you, refuse to make any more mistakes, and do my best to sort out the various messes we've left behind. So please fill in the tree, and together we can figure out how to begin to make amends. Good luck, and thank you both. I don't think you can make amends, Clark. You've done terrible things. Okay. Time to start doing some research. I mean, you basically just said go look at the... But I mean, it could be literally anybody. So I think I'd rather start with the kind of clues that we've been given. That makes more sense. Like rather than just like search for every single man on this tree. Okay. That's definitely strongly implying then that at least in these 3 things, then the green is almost certainly going to be a man. In particular, a man in a position of power, maybe, but then... not necessarily. Okay, notebook. 6 pieces. Your book. How do I do anything? No. How do I search that thing? Do I have to highlight it again? I guess so. Wait, where's the search? Am I just not connected or something? I've got to connect again, I guess. We've still got Pixpop though. We didn't uninstall it in this time. Okay, spy search. Do we still have all the periodicals in here? Yes, okay. I didn't add any extras, that implies that I didn't miss any. Okay, that's as it was. We got this, okay. Spy search hasn't had any updates since then, I guess. I can do that, alright. Here we go. 6 pieces, Unwrapping America's Sweetest Family by Sam Masson, was released in early 1999. She wrote that quickly, I guess she's probably already writing it. And perhaps assisted by the still relatively recent plane crash shot to the top of the charts. Reviews were mixed and its time on the bestsellers list was limited to only 2 months. Most reviewers agreed that the core of the book about Samantha's fathers and the struggles they faced was compelling, and that the takedown of the hypocrisy of Elias Roottree was deserved. However, many took umbrage with the timing of the release and the tone of the book, which seemed vindictive. Okay, I like that it's kind of as muddy as things would be in real life. It's not just like, Sam's finally got the truth and is putting it out there and everything's amazing. No, it's just like, your book seems vindictive because it was because they just died. I can't believe you do this. Take down the hypocrisy of Elias Roottree. It was well deserved. I mean, so Elias was the top dog, right? So we're probably going to look you up as well. I would be surprised if you didn't have a million other children. The fallout from the book led to the Roottree company scrambling to release a statement, and due to a conflict of leadership, famously released multiple conflicting official statements over 3 days. This confusing move was referenced in popular culture due to a late-night sketch about indecisionitis. Okay, that's probably going to give us something. But more traditional analysts have been calling it the Roottree Rift. Okay, a few months later, due to Roottreemania, the book re-entered the charts and sold even better than the first time. Okay, but we don't get access to the book. Oh, there's an older version of this page in the Time Travel Archive. Okay, so I probably could have searched for that before. I don't know if maybe I did. Okay. That was that. Notebook. I'm not used to clicking on the notebook button. The Roottree Rift. The 3 press releases from the Roottree Candy Company after the release of 6 pieces were referred to as the Roottree Rift due to the clear conflicts between them. The first was fairly standard. It stated that there was no president of the Roottree Company, but that the entire family was made aware of the release of the book, and that they would be meeting as soon as possible. Only then could they verify the legitimacy of the claims it raised and decide next steps. Okay. The second release was emailed to business newspapers. Might be something I can look up. 3 hours later, and announced that after a vote, Ron Roottree would be taking over temporarily as an interim president. Ron was Gwyn's kid? One of these two? These two? Yeah, okay. You were director of the film company or something. It was some kind of film production thing. Oh no, when we say director, we mean you're a film director. Okay, I was thinking you're the director of a company, but no. You are a director in a company. Maybe potentially also director of that company, I don't know. But you're a film director, that's the key thing. Ron Roottree will be taking over temporarily as an interim president. It also went on to state that Ron was aware of the book, had verified the claims within, and would look into compensating Mrs. Madsen and the family immediately. It also stated that the company lawyers would be taking immediate steps with the family to revisit the Clancy Trust terms to make sure nothing like this could happen again. So that's interesting. Like, who did Ron send that out? Or how did Ron have the ability to send that out? 3 hours later. Okay, so clearly those are happening simultaneously. It was quickly clear to business reports and analysts that the time between the 2 press releases would not have been logistically sufficient to gather a majority of the family, even using conference calls. This was reported on many news channels, and a third, much shorter press release came the next day, claiming that a draft of the announcement was made prematurely, and that Clark Rafferty LaRue and Ron Roottree would be taking over as the company's first joint presidents. It also stated that any compensation planned would be based on a stringent verification process. Okay. But now it's just Clark, right? So what happened there? Interesting. Let's keep looking up these things. That was the Roottree Rift. Let's look you up now, sure. Hello, Clark. Clark Rafferty LaRue is the new president of the Roottree Corporation. This does not include Root, which appears to have its own new leadership. Interesting. Let's get the whole thing. So I remember the context for why I'm interested. In early March of 1999, about 5 months ago, it was announced that both Clark Rafferty LaRue and Ron Roottree would be taking over for what was essentially described as a transitional period in the aftermath of 6 pieces. About 2 weeks later, the company released a press statement that thanked Ron for his work, but announced that Clark was the new permanent president. So Ron got pushed out somehow. Most of the information about Clark you knew already. Many descriptions of him tend to focus on his advertising career and that his mother was Lauren Roottree. Few seem to touch on his complex and volatile marital history. Which we knew most of already, I guess. Or maybe all of. Since taking over, Clark has tried to remain out of the spotlight, but did have one notable foray into the public eye. He gained a lot of support when his first move was a statement in favor of accepting Sam and her family into the trust. This also served as an announcement that the Clancy Trust would no longer be handled by anyone in the family, since due to their financial motivation, none of them could ever be impartial. Okay, there's an old version. So this is what it would have said before. Yeah. Okay, so suddenly there's more information about you. We'll look that up soon, I think. I mean, I can't just search for that. I mean, I can try. No. Okay, over to 5Ps. 5Ps, okay. Oh yeah, we had your name already. That did come up. Felix Fellows, alright. And we believe that's you, right? Felix Fellows. Can we get a picture of you? Oh, musician. I mean, it's not a separate thing for a rapper, right? No. Okay. So rapper has found some recent radio play. Oh, I see. Because a radio play is a thing. After being publicly confirmed as a long-lost Rootree and entitled as part of their fortune. Yep, okay. His alias 5Ps is a play on 5 Pieces. An article you find on a website known for their particularly harsh reviews of modern music gives this most recent album, Root of All Evil, 1 star. Okay. That'll probably lead to a picture, I think, out of 7. For whatever reason, with the headline, More Poser Than My Action Figure Collection. The review mentions his real name is David, and he used to go by Dirty Davy. Okay, real name is David. David Fellows, maybe? Now I know how the game wants me to play. I'm gonna do things slightly differently, I think, but yeah. Maybe. Not really. I'm gonna still want to get more confidence. That's the main thing that I think people have disagreed with me on, is that I prefer much more confidence in something that I put in, especially because if I put something in without confidence and then it later doesn't get confirmed, that gives me more information that I wouldn't have had otherwise, without the game's meta progression of when it confirms things or whatever, which just feels wrong. It just doesn't feel good. Sure, blame me for wanting to play a game and feel good about it. Used to go by Dirty Davy, okay. And the author rues the fact that this rebranding was a blatant marketing stunt at the expense of his mother's tragic past. Okay, she overdosed when he was 16. Okay. Apparently only one of the songs on the album is new, and the others were simply rewritten to turn blatant references to sex, drugs and violence into clumsy euphemisms. Okay. The rebranding to 5Ps? Is that what we're saying? Or the rebranding... I mean, it's not really... but he might have gone by just his name before, and now he goes by Dirty Davy. Yeah, there's an ambiguity there for sure. But I think it means the rebranding from Dirty Davy to 5Ps. Apparently only one of the songs on the album is new, and the others were simply rewritten to turn blatant rap. Yeah, okay. His rise to prominence was kick-started when he appeared a few months ago on the cover of News Time. Here we go, we've got a new publication, clearly. We'll add it later. Although not too much later. Holding a photo of his mother with Guy Hudson. Okay, here we go. Guy Hudson's the connection here. Alright, so we're talking about here. Wait, no. Yes, we are. So Guy, is this Guy? Guy, what have you been up to? Who's Guy? You? Deary me, Guy. Okay, I think that's what we're saying though. Because here it just gives me the full name. What do you look like? Oh, so I've got to look you up again, I guess. What were you? Present third. Wait, what's going on here? So that's okay. So you had an affair with this person who was also previously married to this person. Okay, and that's your mother. Okay. So there's 3 extra photos of Guy now, although there were 2 before. We're gonna get 4 different photos, possibly. Okay. First, the Roottree company denied it vehemently. Miracle Roottree even appeared in the same magazine a week later. Since then, they've backtracked and publicly welcomed him to the family. Their press release at the time stated that they had new evidence that confirmed the story. So your mother also died. Wait, okay, when you were 16. I thought it was when she was 16. It's like, whoa, holy moly, that would have been a young pregnancy. but no, it's when he was 16. Okay. But since then, they've backtracked and publicly welcomed him to the family. Their press release at the time... Yeah, okay. New evidence. So I think what we should do is look up News Time. News Time is a major news periodical that releases a new issue every week. The rapper 5Ps famously appeared on the cover, claiming to be a Rootree. Then 1 week later, Miracle Rootree did the same, denying that he was. Because of this high-profile back-to-back discourse right before the start of Roottreemania, they appeared to be the de facto publication to get news about the ongoing Roottree saga. Okay. They reported record subscriber numbers during this time, which lasted until the end of Roottreemania, when the world generally stopped paying much attention and they went back to reporting on more traditional news. News Time appears to be available via your periodical search. Okay, and then... So there's clearly 2 issues we need to look up here, but the first we're going to do, for now, is this one, where we're going to get a picture of Felix Fellows, famously appeared on the cover of News Time, kicking off Roottreemania. Then a week later, Miracle Rootree appeared on the cover of the magazine in an article that focused heavily on 5Ps as well. Oh, so we got both. Okay, we didn't have to search for both of them. Summary of both articles, as well as a close-up of the photo 5Ps is holding on the cover of his issue. I see, so that's been added as well. Okay, so that's going to be very handy. So here we go. So, oh gosh, that's Miracle. I'm not reading that yet. Hello, Felix. Could this rapper be the next Sam Madsen? And we've got the photo there, but we've got a close-up of it. I'm not going to read it just yet. This is the close-up of the photo. There's Guy, and there's Felix's or David's mother. Rapper 5Ps appeared on the cover of News Time holding this Polaroid of his mother, Joanna, when she was Zach Morden's secretary at a company picnic. Zach Morden, that's over... Yeah, that's your dad, right? He claims that Joanna and Guy Hudson, also in the photo, were having an affair that led to his birth. Okay. No, it's your uncle. Okay. Alright, so that means Joanna, and I'm going to assume you didn't change your surname. That was your actual surname. Joanna. It's definitely an assumption. I think I'm allowing myself a little bit more of an, like, putting assumptions in than I would normally. Secretary. And then we've got you being you, and then we've got you being you. Oh, we need 4 for it to confirm. Okay. Well, that still feels like a good start, though. I'm pretty confident in those. The only thing I'm not confident in is your surname as Fellows. And I guess your surname as Fellows. It's possible. I mean, it's also possible that you were married to this person. Yeah, I'm sorry, folks. I know there's people who are like, no, you should leave that in. No, I don't like that. Okay, it weirdly didn't make a noise when I clicked on unknown. It normally makes a noise, right? Oh no, it doesn't. Okay. But yeah, I'm not going to put it in because, like, that name might come from this person, or it might come from you, or it might be something else entirely, and I don't want that to get confirmed by virtue of the game's meta stuff. So that's why. Okay? Anybody in the comments, that's why. I'm fully explaining myself, so you know. You can't change the way I like to play the game. Alright. Okay. That's enough for today, I think. So I'll see you next time, and we'll start digging into these magazine covers, I think. Alrighty? Okay, see you then. Goodbye.